Hi children, and welcome to our third story time where we share our favourite 5 text, There's a Snake in My School by David Walliams. So today we're going to share the story, enjoy the story, and I'm going to ask you some questions that you can think about and discuss with your grown-ups. Okay, here we go. Let's start. Here's Mr. Bright and here are all the pets. Mr. Bright had told all the children in his class it was Bring Your Pet to School Day. Everyone rushed into the playground to meet the animals. There was a stupidly cute gerbil, a tiny goldfish, a fat cat, a 100-year-old tortoise and a tall dog. How do you think the children are feeling today? Last to arrive, as usual, was a little girl called Miranda. She was riding on the back of an enormous, slithery snake. Meet Penelope, my pet python, announced Miranda. On seeing the snake, the other children screamed, "Ah!" So question number 2. Why do the children scream? Miranda loved being different. She always stood out at school with her individual take on school uniform, her cartwheels down the corridors and her funny answers in class. A python is a rather unusual pet, but Miranda and Penelope had so much fun playing together. For the little girl, the snake would pretend to be a scarf, a hula hoop, a balloon, a telescope, a trombone, and sometimes, when they were both feeling particularly mischievous, a third arm. "Can I give her a tickle?" encouraged Miranda, but the other children were too scared. Penelope was a python, after all, and pythons eat people. All the pets were frightened too. The large dog yanked on his lead, sending his tiny owner flying. The goldfish tried to hide behind some water. The tortoise made a rather slow run for it. The cute gerbil flashed her gnashers and didn't look so cute anymore. The fat cat, well, he just carried on napping. Miranda slid down her snake. She tickled her python under the chin and the snake smiled. "See, she's very friendly," said Miranda. Why did Penelope the python smile? Soon everyone was gathered around to marvel at Penelope. The python loved the attention and made a climbing frame for the children to climb on, steps for them to step up, and a fireman's pole for them to slide back down. Penelope even helped the children learn their numbers, although she could only go up to, you can fill that number in, 9. Well done. This was turning into the best day of school ever. I wonder, how do you think the other children feel when they see Penelope performing her clever tricks? But then Miss Bloat, the headmistress, thundered into the playground. "There's a snake in my school," she shouted. Children, next question, why is Miss Bloat cross? Miss Bloat didn't like animals much, or children. It's Bring Your Pet to School Day," spluttered Mr. Bright. "And Penelope is my pet," said Miranda. "Miranda, I should have known you would have to be different. A snake is not a pet, it's a menace," snapped Miss Bloat. "Mr. Bright, all these filthy beasts are confiscated." Oh, I wonder how Mr. Bright is feeling. Do you think he's feeling anxious in this picture? All the girls and boys shouted "No!" as the headmistress stuffed their pets into the lost property cupboard. Except for Penelope the snake, Miss Bloat had other ideas for her. Can you remember, children, where is she going to put Penelope? This disgusting thing is coming with me, bellowed the headmistress. With that, she dragged the poor python along the corridor to her office. Where are you going to put Penelope? Asked Miranda. In the bin. No. Oh dear, children, I wonder why Miss Bloat has chosen Penelope to go in the bin. Do you think that Penelope is her least favourite animal? And I wonder, how is Miranda feeling, do you think, at the moment? How do you think she's feeling having her pet taken away? Miss Bloat crammed the snake into her bin and slammed the lid shut. Then she plonked herself down on the top so the python couldn't escape. The bin rattled and rattled, but Penelope was trapped. A snake in my school indeed! Get back to your lesson. Why can't Miranda save Penelope? And how do you think that makes her feel? Downstairs in the classroom, tears rolled down Miranda's cheeks. All the children were sad to have had their pets taken away, but no one was sadder than Miranda. The little girl feared that she would never see Penelope again. How would you feel if you were Miranda in this picture? At the end of the day, Miranda dashed upstairs to Miss Bloat's office to try to make her change her mind. I think, children, she's feeling determined and brave, isn't she, in this picture? There was no answer, so slowly Miranda pushed open the door, only to see Penelope sitting in the headmistress's chair. Miranda ran towards her pet and gave her a humongous hug. Miss Bloat was nowhere to be seen, so the girl grabbed the key on the desk, ran to the lost property cupboard as fast as she could and unlocked it. Children, why does she run as fast as she could? Do you think she's frightened of being caught? Who do you think she is frightened of being caught by? The animals were overjoyed to be set free. Then Miranda and all the pets slid down Penelope's back into the playground. Whoosh! The children shouted, "Hooray!" Now, if you were one of these children, what would you say to Miranda because she has just saved your pet? What would you say to her? Penelope entertained everybody again. She made a seesaw for them to seesaw on, a wheel for them to roll in, a swing for them to swing on, and a skipping rope to skip with. Penelope even helped some of the younger children with the alphabet, although it was hard to do an X. Now, if you were in Miranda's class and you had the opportunity to play on Penelope or with Penelope, which would you like to do the most? Would you like to be on Penelope's seesaw, in her wheel, on her swing, or use her as a skipping rope, or maybe let her help you with your letters? Which one would you choose? As for Miss Bloat, she had completely disappeared. So Mr. Bright was made headmaster. Now the children were allowed to bring in all their favourite animals whenever they wanted. The school became home to every sort of fantastic creature. An ostrich, a giraffe, a tiger, a gorilla, an elephant. Now Mrs. Fussy is going to just point to the animals and see if you can say their names. Well done. A kangaroo. A crocodile, well done. And a bear. Can you remember how he was described? He's a grizzly bear. And even a colony of penguins. So lots of penguins. Now another question. If you were in this class and Mr. Bright was your head teacher and he said, you can bring your pet to school. Which pet do you think you'd like to take in? Have you got a pet at home? Or would you like to choose an exotic animal, a fantastic creature to take in? Which one would you choose? But the star attraction was always Penelope. Though Miranda had noticed that there was something different about her python. Now try to remember what is different about Penelope. Have a think, and we're going to turn over. Aha, there was a bulge. How is the bulge described in the story? A big bulge, with big capital letters, look. A big bulge in the snake's tummy. A bulge in the shape of Miss Bloat. But the little girl thought it best not to say anything. Now 2 questions on this page. Where is Miss Bloat? What has happened to Miss Bloat? And a tricky question just to finish with. Why won't Miranda say anything? Why won't Miranda tell that Penelope has a very unusual shaped bulge in her tummy? Okay, well done children. I hope you've enjoyed the story. It's one of my favourites and I hope you've enjoyed meeting my Penelope Python, and I'll see you tomorrow when I'm going to share another of my favourite stories with you. Okay, bye for now.